In today's video, we are going to discuss some major news about a former WWE superstar who could potentially debut at AEW Revolution. We're going to talk about it right here, right now on Destination Pro Wrestling. What's up, everybody? It's your boy Ango. You guys can follow me on Twitter at Tango with Ango, as well as Instagram. So make sure you guys don't forget to follow me there if you guys want to stay up to date with everything that's happening. And guys, today we are talking about a former WWE superstar who could potentially debut at AEW Revolution, which is taking place on February 29th, 2020. Look at the new dad hat. We got the Deadlock dad hat looking fresh as always. Guys, if you guys aren't checking out Deadlock, you guys need to start getting on that train because they are popping out some awesome content, really awesome clothing as well. Just something I want to bring up, not a paid ad or anything like that, but shout out to those guys out there. So I actually just wanted to make this video because quite honestly, I think this is some very exciting news. This is not necessarily something that we haven't talked about before. We just didn't know for sure if it was going to happen at AEW Revolution, and honestly, I'm ecstatic for it. We are talking about Luke Harper. Now, in this video, we're going to talk a little bit about Luke Harper and the debut, the contract, and we're also going to talk a little bit more about some of the longevity, some of the plans and the long-term situation that's going on here in AEW. And sorry, guys, by the way, if my mic just keeps moving and I have to adjust it. I don't know what I did with my Rode PSA 1, but this little mic arm is just really weird. But nonetheless, I've upgraded from the Shure SM7B to the Electro Voice RE20. Definitely a big mic upgrade. Both microphones are awesome, but just naturally, I think my voice sounds better in this one. And because I'm about to launch a Destination Pro Wrestling podcast with some awesome personalities on YouTube, I probably shouldn't have said that just yet. It's, well, now the cat's out of the bag. So guys, just keep in mind, we had to make the mic upgrade. I think this just sounds a little bit better. And when we launch the podcast, it's going to be really cool on Spotify, iTunes, YouTube, all that good stuff. So if you guys actually want to be a guest on that, that is something you guys should definitely drop a comment down below and let me know that you guys want to be part of the channel, because I can't wait to work with some more awesome creators and podcasters. But yeah, Luke Harper going to AEW. It's almost been a given at this point. We have been talking about it for several months, and it just so happens that Luke Harper at this point should be cleared and ready for his debut at AEW Revolution. And quite honestly, this is big news, not only for Luke Harper, who is finally going to get a chance to be on another national TV program, but it's going to allow Luke Harper to have some creative freedom and actually have some TV time. And that's kind of the first mistake that WWE made when it came to the career of Luke Harper. Yes, he had a pretty cool Intercontinental Championship run, but there was just room for so much more. And that is something that WWE will always be known for, just dropping the ball on characters who are getting over on their own. And realistically, Luke Harper did that. Now, Luke Harper going to AEW is big for multiple reasons, but like I said, we want to talk about some of the long-term plans. And it is being speculated very heavily by many people in the industry that Luke Harper is going to be pushed to the top of the card right off the bat, which I find to be very, very interesting when you really consider the career of Luke Harper in WWE. Is this another Jon Moxley situation? One has to think it is. And I can't blame AEW for doing that. I think Luke Harper at this point can show that he is not only good in the ring, but he's also very good on the microphone, and he's also good with natural storytelling, something that I've talked about a lot previously on the channel. But when it comes to television, you got to be able to do the storytelling. You got to be able to have the looks, the expressions, the mannerisms. These are the kind of things that are going to make you different, and these are the things that will make you set apart. And I think Luke Harper can definitely do that, which is why I can totally see Luke Harper having a very big role once he debuts for AEW Revolution. And I think the way that it's going to go down is a little bit different from what most people expect. I think a lot of people are expecting Luke Harper to be a heel. I think a lot of people are expecting Luke Harper to go in and have this monstrous run, but I fully speculate that this is going to be a situation in which Luke Harper is going to actually be a tweener. And I think we're going to see a start of him becoming the babyface because the company definitely needs babyfaces. But I think Luke Harper saving Jon Moxley from a post-match beatdown is the way to do the debut. A lot of people have been talking about this championship match. And of course, AEW, you know, they're going to fall into the trap of eventually having wacky finishes. And I actually want to bring up a statistic because I have this on my YouTube channel. About 7 to 12 hours ago, 10 hours ago, I actually made a poll in the community tab. So if you guys follow me on YouTube, definitely check out the community tab because it is so crucial. This is where I do a lot of communication on breaking news, polls, results, things like that. Just always staying communicative with you guys. So definitely check out the community tab. And on the channel, I asked a poll. I said, who will win the AEW World Championship match at AEW Revolution? And I will be reading off some of your comments. So some of you might actually be in this video. Out of 517 views, 58% of viewers actually said that Jon Moxley was going to become the new AEW World Champion. And 34% of people said that Chris Jericho would be the reigning champ and he would be able to successfully defend his belt. And then 9% voted that they were undecided. And honestly, I don't blame you for feeling that way. But I read some interesting comments, and I want to read a few, and this is all going to tie into the Luke Harper debut. But somebody says, as in Brian Bryant says, I want Jon Moxley to win the AEW World title, but I think Chris Jericho will keep the title some way, somehow. And honestly, Brian, I really appreciate that comment because I agree. I do think that Chris Jericho will successfully defend the title. I think he will successfully win, and I think there's going to be some shenanigans from the inner circle. And I think this is the perfect time to have Luke Harper make the save to Jon Moxley. AEW is all about, you know, taking parts of the real world and implementing it in its show. And I think Luke Harper making his debut as Brody Lee as a babyface to save Jon Moxley would be a really big deal. There's obviously that WWE connection, but it also allows AEW to now have the title being a little bit more important because now you have another guy who is going to save Jon Moxley. But I think it's going to come at a cost. And I think what that may be is that Luke Harper, a.k.a. Brody Lee, which if you guys didn't know, that was his indie name. So Brody Lee in AEW, saving Jon Moxley from the beatdown only to eventually turn on Jon Moxley while standing tall with the World Championship belt. And I think that is the perfect way to have Brody Lee enter the company. I think it makes a lot of sense if you're the company because not only do you think he's going to be a babyface, but you also get to the point where he's going to make the attack on Moxley to end the show holding the belt. And that's where you get some very nice stuff happening right there because now you can make it a triple threat. The title is going to be very, very important to Luke Harper. And it kind of goes on to show what he can do with promos. I think we'll see him cut some promos, you know, talking about how he was never really given a chance in WWE. And I think we'll see some promos where, again, he's kind of like a tweener. He's not a bad guy. He's not joining the inner circle. But at the end of the day, he came out to help Jon Moxley to make it clear that, like, he's going to go be a top guy in this company. And I think that was a really, really good way to put it. Thank you, Brian, for your comment. That's kind of my views there. There was also another comment that I read, and this came from, let me find it. It came from Black Ace, and he says, I hope Lance Archer appears and disturbs Moxley and costs him to lose to Jericho. And I also like this perspective too, because while the inner circle has definitely expanded, especially when you consider the addition of Jeff Cobb in some capacity, Lance Archer, we know he's going to be on the next episode of Dynamite. Is AEW going to call an audible and have him debut Saturday night? And I think that right there could be a really, really big deal because he, of course, is a new talent. From what I've talked about previously on the channel, I do genuinely believe that Lance Archer is going to stay away from that main title picture, and I think they're going to try to use him to build up the mid card. And I think that is so crucial right now to AEW because the mid card has some potential, but it's all going to take some time. And I'm really curious to see what Tony Khan, Cody Rhodes, the Young Bucks, Kenny Omega, I'm really excited to see what they're going to do. I'm interested, I'm intrigued. And, you know, I know a lot of people hate when people talk shit about WWE, but let's just be honest. WWE right now on a weekly basis, it's not bad. SmackDown's kind of shitty. And Superstar Showdown, or whatever they called it, Super Showdown, it was terrible. And Moments like Goldberg winning the Universal Championship is what's going to cause people to turn that off and tune in on Wednesdays. So don't be shocked if you start to see Dynamite start pulling in millions of views at some point within the next few years. Now, to end the video, I want to leave you guys with a question. Drop a comment down below and let me know what you guys think. What do you guys think about Brody Lee debuting at Revolution with, of course, my opinion on him becoming a tweener, getting that nice baby face pop only to have him turn bad in some capacity? Not necessarily aligning with Moxley, not necessarily aligning with Inner Circle, but allowing him to make a big name for himself. That's the way I would do it personally, but I want to know what you guys think in the comment section down below. This is your boy Ango at Tango with Ango on Twitter and Instagram, and I'll see you guys next time right here on Destination Pro Wrestling.